You ever look at a normal price chart and just get this feeling that you're missing something? Like there's a whole other layer of information that's just out of sight? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain and learn how to see the market's footprints.
Right, so we're all taught to just follow that price line as it wiggles across the screen. But what if that's just the end of the story, not the story itself? What if the real drama, the conviction of buyers and sellers, is actually happening somewhere else on the chart, hidden in plain sight? Okay, so a standard chart, pretty simple. It shows us price over time. But a volume profile chart, it adds this incredible third dimension. See that histogram kind of thing on the side? That shows you how much trading actually happened at each specific price level. It's a total game changer. We're not just seeing the path the price took, we're seeing where all the big stops and parties happened along the way. And this really gets to the heart of it. A regular chart just tells you, hey, the price went from point A to point B, but the volume profile, that shows you the battle. It reveals the trenches where huge fights between buyers and sellers went down, and it also shows you the empty fields where nobody was interested at all. You get to see the whole battlefield, not just the finish line. So why is this such a big deal? Because the huge players, the institutions, the smart money, they can't just click a button and buy $1 billion worth of something. It doesn't work like that. They have to carefully, methodically build their positions at certain price levels. And that whole process, well, it leaves behind these massive, heavy footprints in the volume data. Our job is to learn how to spot them. So, how do we actually decode these clues? Well, these footprints really come in two main shapes: areas with high volume and areas with low volume. And understanding the difference between the two is basically the key to this whole thing. First, you've got your high volume nodes, or HVNs. Think of these like a super busy, popular marketplace. These are price zones where a ton of business got done. Buyers and sellers totally agreed on the value here, and you can bet that big positions were being built. The market really likes these areas. It sees them as fair territory and often comes back to visit. And then, on the complete opposite end, you have low volume nodes, or LVNs. Now, if HVNs are those busy markets, LVNs are like deserted highways in the middle of nowhere. These are price levels where almost no trading happened. The market basically looks at these zones and thinks, nope, that price isn't fair, so it doesn't stick around. It just rushes right through. And this brings us to the actual strategy. Because once you know the difference between a busy marketplace and a deserted highway, you can use that knowledge. It leads to this really cool phenomenon we can call the price sip effect. So because the market sees those low volume nodes as these inefficient, empty voids, it really doesn't like to spend any time there. So when the price drifts into one of these gaps, it has this powerful tendency to just move, or zip, straight through it, looking for the next area of stability, the next busy marketplace, the next high volume node. This gives us a really simple, logical way to think about trades. First, you spot an LVN, one of those obvious gaps in volume. Next, you just wait for the price to actually enter that zone. Because remember, the market doesn't want to be there. And finally, you can anticipate that the price is going to want to zip across that gap and head for the next stable area, the next high volume node, which makes it a super logical place to think about taking profits. So what is the big takeaway from all this? Honestly, it's about a pretty fundamental shift in how you look at the market. This stuff matters because you stop being just a passive observer of some squiggly line on a screen. You start to analyze the auction itself. You get to see where the real institutional conviction is. You can spot these high probability zones where price is likely to move fast, and you're basing your decisions on the pure logic of the market's structure, not just on momentum. And really, that's what it all comes down to. This isn't some magic indicator. It's about a sustainable way of thinking. It's about focusing your attention where the real business is happening. By learning to trace those big institutional footprints, you're aligning yourself with the way the market actually works. So the next time you look at a chart, force yourself to look beyond just the price line. Ask yourself, where's the volume? Where's the real action? The footprints are there, clear as day, right on the side of your chart. The only question left is, where are you going to let them lead you?